it's not going to happen. There's nothing left. To answer your question, finally, you want to have a meal in you before, ideally before weight training, because it's going to break down slower. If you have a shake, be it casein, whey, egg, albumin, whatever kind, it's going to break down much quicker and thusly not give you sustained energy that you would have from a meal. I'm getting ready for this thing now. I almost always have a meal before my training because you've seen my training's brutal and you need the energy to get through it. So always a meal is my suggestion before working out.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Is the book balanced between kind of a working out and nutrition element? Is there more than one over the other? Or, I mean, they obviously play off each other very well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of the goal and what you were trying to do to create?
That's a great question. They're all good questions. To me, it really is like a table because each is a leg. So if I have a really strong training leg, but I got a weak foundation with the nutrition leg, it's going to flop. So everything in there stands equally important in my opinion. Having said that, that leads me to something else. When I get irked personally when people say, well, nutrition is 90% of it. If that were true, if we all ate perfect, we'd live 90% of what we would want to. Michael and Jeffrey were busting their tails week in and week out and eating to change their bodies. So, that everything in my opinion works synergistically. Now, having said that, and I don't want to refute myself, I'm 6 weeks out from this thing. My diet changes a little bit here and there, so it's important, so I don't want to say it goes up, but I have to do little changes to, what are we trying to do here at my level? We're trying to hold on to muscle, because I'm on a reduced caloric intake now, and we're trying to burn fat. Well, how do we do that? We train as heavy as we can up to the event. We use cardio to burn fat, and we keep the protein sky high. My fats are moderate, my carbs are moderate, but what's changing are sources. Like I have no fruit, I have no dairy. In a few weeks I'm going to switch to cod, which I'm ready to cry about, but fish tends to thin the skin, and in the bodybuilding world, that's the name of the game. I want to be, what it comes back to what I said earlier, is how good can you be? In December I'm all about how good can I be, and that's what it comes down to again. So I don't know, did that answer your question? But they're all equally important. Everything works together.
You said 18 weeks and I can transform myself. Is that it's something like that, right? I'm just curious, how many days a week?
Oh, great. The book is a 12-week program.
12 week.
Yeah, and it's a maximum of 4 days of weights a week. I've never believed ever in training anything more than once a week. If you're able to do a body part twice a week, you didn't train it hard enough the first time. And I get I get a lot of women will come in and they want to spot reduce and they're like, let's do legs again. And I'm like, no, because we killed them the other day and that's all that's needed. So it's a slow progression. It's like a hammer and a nail. Okay, if you had a limited amount of nails and you had to erect this here, you're gonna 1 or 2 whacks gets the job done. But if you do too many whacks, you could damage the nail, right? Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, the more experience one gets, the more they can fire 1 or 2 whacks and get the job done. So it's not the time parameters, it's the intensity, it's the passion. I always say to my clients, be present for the set. I always say to you guys, this is the set, right? Mm-hmm. And that fires my guys up. Because they're like, okay, I'm like, okay, we're going for a record here, or what I call a target set. A target set is either another repetition or a little weight increment. That's what's going to change you. If I had my guys come in and impress them with different movements and stuff like that, it might impress them. But if I'm not changing their bodies, I'm not doing my job. So you need to get stronger over the long haul for a muscle to get bigger.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
You just touched on a topic, and I'm just wondering if you had anything more to add to it, because you've been so complete about other things, but the concept of overtraining. You said 1 body part a week, if you do it twice, you didn't get it right the first time, and as someone that treats people that injures themselves, and I say, hey, what's it going to take you to take some time off? And they go, not a chance in hell. So, is there anything that more you want to say about overtraining? I know it's a general term, but my guess is you've got a little more to say.
A little more in the tank for that one. Overtraining is, there's some people that say there's no such thing as that as only undereating. In the old days, Arnold, who was a 7-time Mr. Olympia, those guys would overtrain. I mean, they would train 4 hours a day, 3 times a week, but it worked for Arnold. So we're all different genetically. I come from under the school of Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia, who was, again, advocating everything once a week really hard. So is there an answer to overtraining? I think it's an individual thing. If you're waking up and you're lethargic and you can't hit the numbers, the target sets that you want that day, you may be overtrained. As you get closer to an event, a bodybuilding show, a photo shoot, whatever it is you're trying to peak, the feeling of overtraining is going to increase because you're going to be run down and tired. But you don't want that to confuse you with true overtraining. So I personally am a proponent that I do not train anything ever more than once a week. Is that for everybody? No. But that has allowed me to improve, and my clients. Did that answer? Not really.
I just wanted to give you some more room to run, and you did, so thank you.
Yes.
Training with Hollis, trust me, if he even tried to do one muscle group more than once a week, you would say no. Even if he tried.
No, it's true. But it takes time and an ability. I mean, I'm 41. I started training at 13. I fell in love with it, not just because of the look at my abs and this and that. It's the mental thing. It was my only way of overcoming the bully, not by beating him up, but by, this is one thing in life, everybody, we have control over our body. I mean, why not make the most of it? You know, we have control over our body and our minds. And to start here, you got to start here. And it's a personal, individual war. It's a beautiful thing. I've been complaining to my clients how hungry I am, this and that. But you know, especially Isaac, you know. This is a fun thing. Like, how good can we be? You know, it's exciting. You pure ecto. How good can you be? Only you know. So start eating that salmon, and let's, you know. But then, to me, that's what it's about. Is again an individual thing, and the sky is the limit. If 2 ectos can become runner-up Mr. Olympias, there's nothing we can't do. It's unbelievable. You know. Anyone else? Anything? Bueller? Yes.
A friend of mine's trainer said that if he got weightlifting gloves, that it might make him think he can lift more weight than he could. What is your view on accessories like weightlifting gloves, wrist straps, weightlifting belt? What's your view on accessories and the need versus not need and any of that kind of stuff?
I would say peripherals. The first is to have a good matching clutch. No, peripheral, you know, they're very important. Some. I personally don't like gloves, ever, but they can help people. I have a belt. I believe in a weightlifting belt, especially if you're doing heavy squats or deadlifts or even bent over rows, you want to have that lumbar support. It's an individual thing. I won't do a back workout without my belt or my straps. There's no way.
Wrist straps?
Yeah,
All right.
to reinforce your grip because, you know, the forearm obviously is much smaller muscle than the back. The forearm is going to give out way before the back will. So if you can do what you can do to reinforce the grip, by all means. But I like a lot of peripherals out there, but for me, and they're in the book, the belt and the straps would be #1. But if gloves help, and I feel a disconnect with gloves. I never liked them. Though they had that cool Mr. T kind of look, cut off. But it's an individual thing, you know, and that's another beautiful thing about this endeavor. It's an individual thing. It's not a collective thing. That's why I love working one-on-one with people. I'm not a group guy because then I can't give attention to everybody. I can't be like, Darcy, what are you doing over there? You know, so it's like I'm going overboard. But anybody else, anything at all? Lucky numbers, politics, anything. But what I do want to say then in closing is, I would suggest take pictures of yourself, and whenever you guys start the book, from all 4 sides of the body, and put them away, because it's really exciting to see what you look like in 12 weeks. If you saw the pictures of me months ago, I had a month in, I wasn't going to try to get too personal today, but in May, I couldn't eat for a month. I had a personal setback, couldn't eat. June, overate. So my prep didn't really start till July, and it's the slow progression of not missing meals, not missing workouts, being attentive. It's a daily lifestyle that I can't wait to see what it looks like in December. Maybe I'll be fat again after that, but it doesn't matter, because that's the last time, I'm kidding. But if I leave you with anything, ladies and gentlemen, it's how good can you be, because only you know. Thank you. Sure.
Anybody interested in
Sure.
Having him sign the book? You can come right up here and then you can have him sign it and then go ahead and pay for it after. I'll make it easy for you.
Thank you.
I should have brought my juice.